Have you ever looked around and thought, where did everyone go? Not in a dramatic or lonely way, but in that quiet realization that life shifts more than we expect as we age. Friends move away. Family gets busy. The calls come less often. The kids? Well, they've got lives of their own now, and that's how it should be. But sometimes, deep down, you still feel like you're standing at the station, watching train after train go by, waiting for one to stop just for you. Here's the thing, once you turn 60, you start to see the world a little clearer. Not through rose-colored glasses, but through lenses that know what's real. You see who shows up, and who doesn't. And while love from family is beautiful, it's not always consistent. It's not always enough. Not because they don't care, but because life moves fast, and people are pulled in every direction. So what do? Sit back and wait? Hope someone notices you need help? Or do you take the reins and build something stronger, something more reliable? That's what this video is really about, not blaming others or feeling sorry for ourselves, but stepping into a new kind of strength. After 60, the most reliable support system isn't always your children, your siblings, or even your closest friends. It's the foundation you build for yourself. I call these the 6 pillars, 6 powerful, practical supports you can lean on every single day, no matter who's around or what's going on. And no, we're not talking about money or retirement accounts. We're talking about real life, day-to-day support. The kind that helps you get out of bed with purpose, face challenges with grace, and feel steady even when life feels uncertain. Let's start with the first one. This one might surprise you, because most people don't realize how much it matters until it's missing. The first pillar is routine. Now, I know that sounds simple. Maybe even boring. But don't scroll away just yet, hear me out. Routine is one of the most underrated sources of stability, especially after 60. When life slows down and structure fades, maybe after retirement or after the kids have moved out, the days can start to blur. You wake up and think, what now? You eat when you're not hungry. You sit a lot. Maybe you sleep a little too much or too little. And before you know it, the days feel like a loop, not restful, but restless. Having a daily routine gives your mind and body a sense of rhythm. It tells your brain, hey, we've got a plan today. That might mean waking up at the same time, going for a walk after breakfast, calling a friend in the afternoon, or setting a specific time for meals. Even small anchors in your day can bring a sense of control and comfort. Think about it like this. When we were younger, life gave us routine, school, jobs, kids' schedules. But now, it's on us. And the good news is, you get to create one that works for you. Want to sleep in a little? Great. Just make it consistent. Want to take a walk at 8 a.m. every day with your coffee in hand? Even better. The point is, when your days have shape, your life starts to feel more grounded. You're not just drifting, you're steering. And with that routine, something else starts to grow quietly in the background, confidence. You realize, hey, I'm in charge of how I feel each day. And that's no small thing. Now, once you've got that rhythm going, the second pillar becomes a lot easier to lean on. And that's community. Now don't worry, I'm not talking about joining a huge social club or going to every event in town. This isn't about being the life of the party. It's about connection, even small ones. After 60, it's easy to fall into a pattern of isolation without even realizing it. Especially if you live alone, or your partner has passed, or your family lives far away. You may go a full day, sometimes more, without speaking to anyone. And at first, it might not seem like a big deal. But over time, that silence can grow heavy. The truth is, we all need people, not necessarily many, but a few good ones. And if you don't have them right now, it's never too late to build those connections. One conversation at a time. Maybe it's chatting with the cashier at your local market. Or saying hello to your neighbor during your morning walk. Maybe it's signing up for a class at the community center, painting, yoga, even just a book club. You don't have to become best friends overnight. But when you open the door just a little, you'd be surprised who walks through. The point is, don't wait for others to come to you. Start small, but start. And I know, it's not always easy to put yourself out there, especially if you've been hurt or disappointed by people in the past. But this pillar isn't about depending on others, it's about weaving little threads of connection into your days so you don't feel like you're doing life all alone. The best kind of community is the kind that grows naturally. It might start with a wave, a smile, a shared laugh over something silly. And before you know it, you've got someone who notices when you're not around. Someone who says, "Hey, I missed you yesterday. You doing okay?" And that little moment? That's gold. That's support you can count on. And here's a gentle truth, you don't need dozens of people. Even one or two real, caring relationships can change everything. Now, when you combine a steady routine with small, meaningful connections, your days start to feel a little fuller, a little brighter. But there's something else that holds these two pillars together, and that's where we're heading next. Because once your days have structure and your heart has connection, there's another form of support waiting to be built, one that keeps your spirit strong, no matter what life throws your way. If you're still watching and feel that these insights are meaningful, please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Because once your days have structure and your heart has connection, there's another form of support waiting to be built, one that keeps your spirit strong, no matter what life throws your way. That third pillar is purpose. Now, don't let that word intimidate you. Purpose doesn't have to mean saving the world or starting a business or doing something grand. At this stage in life, purpose is about waking up in the morning with a reason to get out of bed, something that brings meaning to your day, no matter how small. You see, when we were younger, purpose was usually built in. Jobs, kids, relationships, responsibilities, all of that gave us a sense of direction. But after 60, when the pace of life slows down, you might find yourself asking, what now? What's left for me? The beautiful answer is, anything you want. This is the time when purpose becomes something you choose, not something assigned to you. It could be as simple as tending to a garden, mentoring someone younger, volunteering a few hours a week, or even learning a new hobby. Purpose could mean helping a neighbor, watching your grandkids grow up, or finally writing that story you've had in your head for years. What matters is that it lights you up, even just a little. It gives your day a heartbeat. One woman I spoke with, she's 72, told me that every morning, she gets up and feeds the birds in her backyard. Rain or shine. She even has names for a few of them. That's her ritual. And for her, it's a moment of peace, care, and connection to something beyond herself. That's purpose. It doesn't have to look important to anyone else, it just has to feel important to you. The truth is, when you have a sense of purpose, your mind stays sharper. Your mood stays lighter. You walk through your days with a little more energy in your step because you know that what you do matters, even in the smallest way. Now, with routine to guide you, community to support you, and purpose to move you, there's another kind of strength you start to build, the fourth pillar. One that often gets overlooked, especially in older age, but might be the most powerful of all. That pillar is independence. Let's be honest, the word independence can stir up some mixed emotions after 60. Maybe your body doesn't move like it used to. Maybe there are things you can't do quite as easily anymore. And it's tempting to just hand over control, let someone else do the thinking, the planning, the deciding. But here's the thing, independence isn't about doing everything on your own. It's about keeping a sense of agency, of choice, in your life. It's about saying, I still get to decide what my day looks like. I still have a voice. I still count. Maintaining independence might mean taking care of your own finances, learning how to navigate a smartphone, or managing your medications without relying too heavily on others. Maybe it's insisting on walking to the store yourself instead of always asking for a ride, just because you want to. It could be as small as cooking your own meals, organizing your space the way you like it, or staying curious about new things. And yes, sometimes we need help, that's okay. Accepting help isn't weakness. In fact, asking for help when you need it is one of the most independent things you can do. What matters is that the choice is yours. One man I know, 68 years old, had a knee replacement a year ago, told me the most frustrating part wasn't the pain or the surgery. It was feeling like he had to ask for help every 5 minutes. But once he got back on his feet, he made it his goal to handle as much as he could on his own again. Not out of pride, but because it reminded him that he still had control over his life. That's what independence does. It restores that quiet strength inside you. The one that says, I've made it this far, and I'm still capable. And when you lean into that feeling, it trickles into everything else. You stop doubting yourself so much. You stop waiting for permission to live your life the way you want to. You become the driver again, not just a passenger being carried along by others. And yes, sometimes family will step in. Sometimes they'll offer help, or advice, or maybe even overstep a little. And while their intentions may be good, it's okay to say, thank you, but I've got this. That's not rejection. That's self-respect. So when you build your life on these 4 foundations, routine, community, purpose, and independence, something powerful starts to happen. You stop relying on others to make you feel okay. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you from boredom, loneliness, or doubt. You realize you already have the tools to create a life that feels steady and meaningful, right here, right now. And it's in that space, when you're living with rhythm, surrounded by connection, moving with purpose, and holding your own, that your confidence starts to return in a big way. You start to trust yourself more. Believe in yourself more. You start showing up in the world with quiet strength, not because you're pretending to have it all figured out, but because you know what matters now. There's a peace that comes from not needing anyone to be your safety net. From knowing that yes, you love your family, and yes, you appreciate your friends, but if they're busy, if they forget to call, if they move away, you'll be okay. Because you've built your own foundation. Because you've stopped waiting for someone else to bring you peace, and you've started planting it yourself. And once you feel that, once you truly feel that, that's when everything changes. And once you feel that, once you truly feel that you're standing on your own 2 feet again, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, that's when everything begins to feel lighter. More peaceful. More yours. But we're not done yet. There are still 2 more pillars that complete this foundation. Without them, everything else you've built can start to wobble, even fall apart over time. Because it's one thing to feel strong today, but the real question is, how do you stay strong next year? 5 years from now? 10? The 5th pillar is something people often put off, especially after 60. But the truth is, the longer you wait, the harder it gets to start. And that's why it matters now more than ever. This pillar is your health habits. Now I'm not talking about some strict diet or a gym membership you'll never use. I'm talking about the basics, the daily decisions that either protect your body or slowly wear it down. Because by this point in life, you already know, health isn't something you can take for granted. You feel it in your joints, your energy, your digestion, even your sleep. But here's the good news, you don't need to do anything extreme to start feeling better. A 20-minute walk each morning, gentle stretches before bed, staying hydrated, cutting down on sugar, these small shifts stack up. And they don't just add years to your life, they add life to your years. One man I met started drinking 1 extra glass of water a day. That's it. Just water. Within 2 weeks, his energy was up, his digestion improved, and he said his afternoon brain fog was nearly gone. Sounds silly, right? But that's how change works, not in leaps and bounds, but in steady steps. It's not just about your body either. Your mind needs care too. Reading something every day, challenging yourself to learn a new skill, or even just staying curious, all of that keeps your brain sharp and your mood steady. And listen, if there are areas of your health that feel overwhelming, maybe a condition you've ignored or something you're embarrassed to bring up, now is the time to face it head on. Not from fear, but from self-respect. You deserve to feel as good as you can for as long as possible. Taking care of your health isn't about trying to be young again. It's about showing up for yourself today. Giving your future self the gift of strength, stability, and ease. And once your health is better supported, everything else becomes easier: your energy, your mood, your independence. It all ties together. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Now, let's talk about the final pillar. This one might not seem obvious at first, but it's the thread that ties all the others together. Without it, life can feel flat, even if everything else is in place. This last pillar is your emotional resilience. Because let's face it, life after 60 can be beautiful, yes. But it also brings its fair share of loss, change, and uncertainty. Friends pass away. Bodies change. Roles shift. Sometimes, it can feel like the world you knew is fading, piece by piece. And if you're not careful, that can pull you into a dark place, one where sadness, bitterness, or fear start to take over. But emotional resilience, that inner muscle that helps you bounce back, it's what keeps your heart open even when things feel hard. It's what lets you feel sadness, but not become sadness. It's what reminds you that even when life knocks you down, you're still capable of getting back up. How do you build that kind of strength? Start by letting yourself feel. Really feel. Don't bury your emotions or pretend you're fine when you're not. Talk to someone, a friend, a therapist, a support group, someone who sees you. Write in a journal. Pray. Meditate. Sit in silence. Whatever helps you process the weight you carry. Then, start paying attention to what lifts your spirit. Maybe it's music from your younger years. A walk in nature. Watching birds at the window. Laughing with someone who gets you. These aren't distractions, they're medicine. They remind you that there is still beauty, still joy, still moments worth savoring. One woman I know, in her late 70s, lost her husband of 52 years. She told me the grief nearly swallowed her whole. But every morning, she forced herself to sit on her porch and feel the morning sun on her face. She did it for 5 minutes at first. Then 10. Then 20. She said it reminded her that life was still happening and that she was still a part of it. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means you don't let pain become your permanent address. It means you find ways to keep going, not because everything is easy, but because you choose to keep showing up for yourself, one day at a time. And that choice, that deep, powerful choice to keep living with heart, with hope, with dignity, that is what makes these 6 pillars so important. They aren't about creating a perfect life. They're about creating a reliable one. One you can depend on, no matter who's calling or visiting or showing up. One that doesn't collapse when people get busy, when life gets quiet, or when things feel uncertain. Because you've built something solid. You've built a routine that grounds you. A community that holds you. A purpose that moves you. An independence that empowers you. Health habits that carry you. And resilience that protects your peace. That's what reliable support really looks like after 60. Not waiting for others to fill in the gaps, but filling them yourself, with strength, with grace, with intention. And if no one has told you this lately, you can do this. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start, gently, consistently, and with self-compassion. Because you are not too old to change. You are not too late to grow. And you are absolutely not alone in how you feel. Others are walking this same path, quietly, bravely, just like you. So if this message spoke to you, leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your story, or even just say hello. Let's remind each other that support doesn't have to come from blood. Sometimes, it comes from community, from connection, from sharing moments like this together. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more content that supports, inspires, and empowers you right where you are. Here's to living your best, most grounded life, not despite your age, but because of it. You've earned your wisdom. You've earned your peace. Now build your foundation and stand tall on it.